Hello everyone, we're back again with a different kind of card that we're going to be making today. It's a borderless card as opposed to the other customs that you've seen made that have borders. Same principles, just a little bit different considerations and whatnot. So a borderless card can allow for larger patches, more visible color in the background, so you can do like different like abstract art projects as far as like just cut and pasting different images from different cards, different sets, all that kind of stuff. So the downside is that bordered cards do have like very well put together looks and appearances to them when they're done because of the borders, depending on, or it doesn't matter what kind of border that you use. So, and also bordered cards do have they have a chance for you to hide a lot of imperfections, such as like miscut patches and whatnot like that. So, so this is the beginning, just a couple of pictures as the progressional period goes through of me cutting away what I wanted to cut away. So you're gonna have to decide as you go around when you do these images what you want to cut away and what you don't. If you look near Patrick Mahomes' left elbow, it looked like it was an elbow pad initially. I'm really not sure why I thought that, probably because I'm an idiot, but it was not. So as you go further, you'll see that I did end up cutting it away. You'll also see at the bottom that I ended up trimming some of the nameplate at the bottom a little bit better. Like, so as you go, it kind of like comes together as far as what you want to do or don't want to cut away. In this instance, I could have cut the image off of the nameplate and moved it left or right or whatever. Like, you have, just like any other custom card, you know, you have a lot of opportunities to do whatever you'd like. The downside is that the image itself of the player in this instance is very large, so it's going to hide a lot of the patch anyway. But I actually really like this line of cards because the images are really cool. I'm going to end up doing an Aaron Rodgers where he's doing like the State Farm image, same photogenic card set. But so some of this stuff is pretty neat imagery. So I chose to keep the chin straps in this one just because it looked cool, and I figured I would try to cut it, and it actually kind of worked. So the upside to these is that you know, the assembly, once you're done cutting everything away, you've kind of like developed in your mind what you want to do and physically cut the card. The assembly of the finished product is a little bit easier. So there is an upside to that. So that's all the basic stuff right there. Same principles as the other cards. Not that there should be much of a difference, but the biggest thing with this is you're gonna want to start really want to start experimenting with stuff as far as patch placement. In this regard, I could have had the KC go up, go down. You know, I could have left it going straight across and just cut both ends, that kind of stuff. So with this one, I used a rainbow style wave vinyl, which I really like. I know some people don't like the rainbow stuff. The more colorful, the better to me. But if you look at the two images, this one and the next one that comes, I can decide to put the color flow going one way or going another way. So that's another thing that you're going to want to look at when you do this kind of stuff. Any vinyl that you use or background that you use that isn't like one very consistent pattern, if it has any kind of gradient or anything like that, you're going to want to put it all together and kind of be like, which one looks better before you glue anything. So also with these, if you have to cut a patch, if you can, I would suggest cutting one side and then leaving the other side uncut. If you have to cut two different sides, you run the risk of two miscuts instead of one. So just keep that in mind. Cutting patches can be a real pain. So plus if they fray, they don't look good, stuff like that. That's how the end looked. So when you turn the image over, you're going to want to start putting these structural supports in the back. You're going to want to measure it either with a ruler or just like with this, as I put it in the back and go, okay, across the bottom, I'm going to want to cut little strips the same depth. It's going to be six card depths deep, I guess is the right words you want to use. Once you make one that you know is the right size, you're just going to want to use it as a template. Be like, okay, I need 6 of them. So I do 6 of them. The other thing with these images, or any image that is not held in by the border, meaning it touches at 2 or 3 different spots, you have to put some sort of support underneath the torso or the head of the image, otherwise it can bow down and look like it's pushing right up against the patch. Some people make their cards like that. I prefer to make mine as completely 3D as possible. So I cut the 6 things, and then you'll see the 2 little white strips on the left hand side of the screen right now. Those I end up cutting into 4 smaller strips that I put underneath his like head and neck area, and that helps keep it boosted off of the patch to continue to give it that 3D look even once it's in the one-touch magnetic case. So, and that holds pretty true. It's usually 4 behind the body of the player, and then 6 as the structural support. The other thing too, because you don't have the borders to use, you're going to want to, I prefer to glue piece by piece on the card. I don't glue the 6 strips together and then like put the 6 strips together on the image as one. I do it one at a time. I think it dries better. It's not as messy, and if I have to screw with it as I go, I can. I've gone to where sometimes I needed 7, and then sometimes I can only use 5. So peeling one of them off was easier than letting it dry as a block of 6 and then gluing that block onto the image. That's just my personal preference, and that's kind of why I've come to that conclusion. So, yep. And same thing with you'll see the supports right underneath his head and chest area. So once you're done with all of this, you'll see, I don't know if I showed it, got a picture of it in the video or not, but before I glued all the stuff together, you want to put it in the one-touch case, and you want to make sure that the case is going to be able to close. Because I maximize my use within the case to give it that ultimate 3D effect, I also want to make sure the case will still close. There's times where I've had to like, I'll put the whole thing together and I'll go to close the magnetic case, and it won't close all the way. So I have to take it back off, and like I take my X-Acto knife and I'll pry like just one layer of the, you know, of the border of the structural support off, and then retest it again, and then I'll be like, okay, this works, and then I'll glue it together. So a lot of the same principles with this style. It's just basically different card design, different image. You could take this image and put it in a border. You can cut all of the stuff away of another border and just put this image within one, which I'm going to do one soon as well, where I'm not using a different image. I'm just going to use the same image, and then I'm going to move it one side or the other just because it will look a lot better. So this was glued, but it's just to give, like, I try to look to see if it looks as 3D as I want it to. So in the pictures on Facebook or Instagram, and even sometimes the videos, it doesn't do them any justices to how deep they are and how 3D that they look once you have them in hand. So I'm trying to get better at capturing those images. I just haven't gotten any better. So, and that's the final product. So, all right. Well, I have another video tomorrow. I think we have a couple of different things coming up, including I'm doing a baseball mascot set, and I'm going to do a 360 point card, and I'm going to do I'm going to do a Joe Montana card that is the image is shifted. So another how-to video on that. So, and then we'll do some other fun stuff. We'll be live on Sunday night on Instagram. I don't know what time, but I'll put another card together. It's just for fun. It's just hopefully people join the live chat and we can talk a whole bunch of crap like we did last time. That was very enjoyable. We only had about 10 people and it was still a hell of a lot of fun. So, all right, guys. See you tomorrow.